Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. And some big news. FARRELL has received a 4-week ban for West tackle on Taine Basham a few weeks ago after World Rugby decided to appeal the Independent Disciplinary Committee decision last week, where they in fact rescinded the red card, downgraded to a yellow card, and said that no ban would apply. After that, World Rugby stepped in and said that they would be appealing the decision with a disciplinary committee to sit down today, which has happened and have concluded in the ban. It's, for me, a shocking decision, to be honest, and I'm going to talk about exactly why I think it's terrible and why, as we go through the statement, I just don't think it really adds up. But the point is, he has received a ban. He will be missing World Cup games, but not as many as expected. And he also managed to really have a game that he didn't play, be included in the ban, which I also think is a bit nonsense. So, before we break down exactly what the situation is, what happened, and why he has received this ban, and why it's this long or short, whatever, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so earlier, a Six Nations release came out and said that, and I quote, following an initial disciplinary committee hearing for England number 10, FARRELL, who received a red card during the Summer Nations Series, blah, 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 World Rugby lodged a formal appeal against the committee's decision to downgrade the red card to a yellow, appealing for the red to be upheld. The appeal committee met on the Tuesday, August 22nd, and unanimously determined at the original hearing the disciplinary committee should have considered the attempt of the player to wrap his opponent in the tackle. This point did not feature in the original decision. So the big question is, well, why wasn't that in the original decision? How is that not something that was looked at? It does beg the question, what is the validity or the standard of the hearing if they're not looking at all the evidence that was there to look at? It then said the failure to attempt to wrap was judged to be an important element of the foul play review officers. Well, yes. And had led to an upgrading of the referee's yellow card to a red card during the match. Shock. As this element did not feature in the original decision, the appeal committee decided it was in the interest of justice to hear the case afresh on that key point alone, which included hearing from the player. Following the review by the appeal committee of this key element, it was determined that the FPRO, which is the foul play review officers, was correct in its decision leading to the red card. The appeal committee subsequently determined the tackle was always illegal, which is what Nigel Owens actually said in his column, which he released last week Friday. It then said, when applying the terms of World Rugby's head contact process, no mitigation can be applied to a tackle that is always illegal. The appeal committee therefore considered the disciplinary committee's decision to downgrade red card to yellow card had been manifestly wrong, which led to the disciplinary committee's decision being overturned, the appeal brought by World Rugby being allowed, and the red card being upheld. Great. Fantastic. All going very well here. In considering a sanction, the committee applied World Rugby's mandatory minimum mid-range entry point for minimum, by the way, let me say that again. Minimum mid-range entry point for foul play resulting in contact with the head, 6 matches. 6 matches. That is the minimum that this should carry. Taking all consideration into account, including the player's acceptance of foul play, clear demonstration of remorse, and his good character, the committee agreed a 4-match suspension. This is his 4th ban. His 4th ban. 4 high tackles. It is a 2nd ban this year. It is a 2nd red card this year for an illegal tackle, for foul play. He's been banned for 10 weeks across 3 different bans for this. How can you sit there and talk about good character when he has a history of this tackle? He has a history of foul play in this respect. How can you sit there and apply mitigation back from that? He literally does not have the option of tackle schools, which usually reduces it by a week. And they've still managed to reduce it by 2 weeks based on he felt sorry for what he did and his good character. I cannot understand. I cannot fathom this. I mean, and I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not saying that he doesn't have good character. But it shouldn't be about, what has character got to do with anything? The acceptance of foul play, okay, that is a genuine considered, fantastic. Genuine remorse, okay, maybe, but good character, I'm sorry, he's a repeat offender. He is a repeat offender. This is going to be the 4th ban, the 2nd of the year for a foul play, a high illegal tackle. How is his good character reducing this from 2 matches by 2 matches? The second point as well, it said the appeal committee accepted submissions on behalf of the player that the Ireland versus England match on August 19th, which is the player was voluntarily stood down, would be included as part of the sanction. Therefore, the suspension applies to the following match. That as well should not be the case. You should not be able to retrospectively include games you missed in a ban because they voluntarily stood down. Bullshit. They sought clarity. They very much must have gone to the Six Nations or World Rugby and said, right, we've got this appeal happening next week. If we decide not to play him this week, will that be included in the ban? And they've obviously said yes, and that's why they didn't play him. That for me as well should not be the case. Your ban starts when your ban starts. You know, that so that for me as well as nonsense. That's last week was them saying, all right, cool, we know he's going to get banned, so we're not going to play him in this match. But then we can sort of retrospectively just include it in his ban, and that means he'll be able to play in the third World Cup match. And which is the reality. Now he's going to miss this weekend's game against Fiji and the first 2 games against the World Cup. He will then be allowed to play. You'll be available for the final 2 group stage games. Whereas a 6-week ban, and if they hadn't retrospectively included it, would take him out until the semi-finals basically. You know, even a 4-week ban without the retrospective week would have meant he would have played in the last game of the group stages. A 6-week game with the retrospective thing would have meant that he would have missed the entire group stage and played in the quarterfinal earliest. It is absolutely ludicrous how they have bent the rules and made it work to ensure that one of rugby's big names will only miss 2 games in the World Cup. You do start to feel, if this was not an Owen Farrell, that this ban will not be the case. I cannot understand how you can look at good character and use as mitigation for a player who's committed this thing 4 times career, and it's the 2nd time in a year. 6 months ago, he was getting this ban. 6 months ago, he had a ban for this. 6 months later, does the same thing, and he gets mitigated down 2 matches because of good character. It's absolutely ludicrous. I mean, the precedent this sets for me is absolutely dreadful. But I don't know, maybe it's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. And looking forward to seeing what everybody has to say about the ban. And I'm not sitting here asking, what I said the entire saga, I don't want to sit there and ask for bans. You know, nobody wants to just sit there, you know, players being banned for the sake of it. But you've got to be consistent. You've got to be fair. And this, for me, just isn't consistent, isn't fair, and it just doesn't add up. But let me know if you think it does down in the comments below. My name is Steve. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.